Hello and welcome back to Roll the Bones. I am your host again. Well, for the third time running, and we don't know for how long this will keep going. This is maybe a few more, maybe a lot, but we shall see how this happens. As always, I will be joined for these sessions with our players Dom and Rob, to which I can ask the question once again, for the second time, what happened previously on the finishing touch?
My goodness, quite a lot happened actually. It was a broad spectrum of a session that began as the previous one had left off, which was we were beset in a tavern by a number of operatives, spies, that attempted to jump us. Yeah, goons. They engaged us in battle, but someone that Conrad had identified as a member of the D'Artagnan family, or one of the knightly houses or lordly houses of the area, intercepted them. A great battle in the tavern was resolved quite quickly, actually. They attacked us and then they stopped quite quickly, which was enjoyable.
And then we dragged the bodies into the back room, and our compatriot, I suppose you might call him, introduced himself. His name was Peridic.
Yes, he was. He was called Peridic.
Yes, he was.
And has entered the annals alongside Lottie Cobbler. And Enos.
Yes.
Peridic is now among their ranks, in my opinion. In my humble opinion.
After the events of last session, especially so.
I will give him his credit, though. Peridic was far more useful than both Lottie Cobbler and Enos combined in terms of questionably named NPCs, for he turned out to be an ally in disguise, for Conrad.
Indeed. So we woke one of the knocked out spies.
Yes.
To try and uncover the mystery of what the shit was happening. And the shit that was happening was they were spying on the town in general, and they were from the northern lordship place of
Haxel.
And they were operatives of
the one that they now name the Sovereign, Orion, Sovereign Orion, who, by the sound of that name, kind of sounds to me like he wants to be the only ruler of the land. That at least is indicated by his invasion from the north into the realms of Vardel, encroaching upon the Lord's grasp. Yep, so we learned all about that. We learned about how, spies were being sent forth into these lands to recover reconnaissance, perhaps sow a little bit of chaos. And we also learned, Bracken decided to use this guy to engineer a bit of an ambush for Peridic and his men, for they are of the D'Artagnan are a risen militia family, so they weren't always lords, but they were raised to lords because of, well, we don't know exactly why, but probably because of fine service and being a house with a lot of force behind them, so they become the ruling, not ruling. They provide order to the area. Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, or help provide order. So yeah, we did learn, unless there's anything else that we learned from them that we're missing, Mike, I think that was pretty much it. We got the rough situation from the spy, if anything.
I mean, it didn't take long, really, but that's pretty much all of it. He spent a lot of time contemplating whether he could flee or not, but that never happened.
Yeah, well, Dominate Person ensures that he will, and I did look it up, he will be fully within Bracken's control for far more than long enough for that ambush to take place. So hopefully Peridic will have a few more spies fall into his nets when they arrange that meeting by the fountains. But Peridic was kind enough to offer us hospitality as he guided us upstairs, I believe the term was. Showed us upstairs, gave us an incredibly warm welcome.
King Conrad played swords.
He wanted to play with each other's swords. Yeah,
play with me. He says,
"I want to play with you, Conrad." And play you did. Yes. For why do they
particularly well?
Why do they play with swords? Remind us.
It's a custom of, well, at least Highkeep. I'm not sure if it's the area as well. I guess it probably has filtered down if he knew how to do it. And it's just a sort of a thing that they do called sword singing.
Another thing they do is share tales. Peridic welcomed like a sharing of tales, and of course that's a tradition across the whole world. But their emphasis is on like great deeds and like almost like ballad songs of great deeds, like the Arthurian poems of old. So we regaled Peridic with our tale of the Free Company and how we've made business for ourselves within the kingdoms to the north of Castrosar, in Liberty's Crown, defeating the tyrant Rakshasar masters, and facing... I don't know if we mentioned about facing the abyss fully to Peridic. I'm not sure if we went that deep, did we? But we explained about...
I think we said that we went into the abyss, no?
But we explained about two of our fallen allies, Erasio, Grizzly Scribe, and Trout Mickleberry.
So yes, after some questionable conversations with Peridic,
he guided us to our beds.
You sunk into your mattress.
We sunk into our mattress. We did indeed. And we slept well. Bracken chose not to write a scroll, as he normally does, trying to conserve some magic or gold. And we decided to head straight for Valleydale the next day. But on the way to Valleydale, we stumbled upon a strange group of people who at first glance seemed very suspicious. And then Bracken disguised himself and tumbled into the camp, whereupon they seemed less suspicious, and then they seemed suspicious again. As it turned out, they were indeed spies, and Bracken did a lovely turn of pretending to be a spy himself, gain their trust, and try and get some information out of them. But they didn't really have any more information than we already knew. They were going to go to various places around the grasp, and then Bracken decided to wreck them, basically, didn't you?
Well, you both did.
We both did, in fairness. But it was a pretty spectacular display of our abilities. I think more so than our opening few fights. I think it was. Yeah, it was pretty special. Pretty special.
It was a demonstration of some of your untapped power, but
definitely,
and a lot of being sent to varying planes and dimensions, which you'll be pleased to know if that happens again. I have that all ready for you.
Yes, I will be very much drawing on those powers quite a lot, given the prismatic nature of Bracken's powers and sort of his sensibilities as well. It was shown that he does have a weird penchant for changing guises. and taking on different personas. But more on that later, I'm sure. But yes, we bested them, and we continued on our journey. And it was not long before we had arrived in Valleydale, and it was suspiciously quiet. Not really much going on. The road there that usually bustles with commerce and trade was just dead and silent. No one was there at all. Got to Valleydale, and it was pretty much similar. All the doors were shut. A few guards present, particularly on the way up towards the mountain, or rather the path that leads to the mountain. Our way was blocked before Conrad spoke with them.
Yeah, they kind of seemed almost too depressed to even put up anything but a very limited attempt to stop us from going up. They sort of went, "Oh, no one's come back. Go if you want." Very Eeyore about it, weren't they?
They were Eeyore about it.
Pretty much. Struck with despair, I think is the way I put it. But Eeyoring is also another. Yeah. Yes.
And then we made our way up the path towards Highkeep itself.
Yeah, we detected some kind of ill feeling in the air, and we were asked to make a save, and it became apparent that there was something like at work within the atmosphere we were moving through, some feeling upon the land, and Bracken cast Detect and Read Magic and was able to learn that there is some kind of how best to describe this, some kind of like aura emanating from the land that we've entered around the mountains, and can only determine that it is similar to the feeling we felt when within the northern realm, for that is where we felt the demonic will of a very powerful entity known as the Pale Knight, a creature that the Free Company, including Bracken and Conrad, once faced, whereby her will and her grief caused the very land to weep with tears of grief, rain falling constantly. So something similar to that, but this also had like a link to the Feywild, like there was a kind of decayed feeling about it. All that from the check, which was very helpful, and led us to a discussion of how best to describe it. A discussion of speculation of an entity that we have encountered in the past that was definitely a loose end from a previous tale that we never got to the bottom of.
We never followed that thread. Or we tried to, but it disappeared on us.
Yep, pretty much, yep. But then we rounded a corner.
We did, and Conrad melodramatically announced Bracken in a sort of feast your eyes upon. And then as they turned the corner, the splendour of Highkeep was somewhat unsettled by the seeming growth of fungal matter, was it? And sort of...
Yeah.
Like giant mushrooms, vines, roots, and in some places as well, monstrous ulcers piercing the landscape.
So we're expecting a sort of Mario-style Mushroom Kingdom vibe.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Princess Peach is at the top of the castle in the Highkeep. Copyright.
And Redium is quite right. What colour will the bones that roll tonight be? Can't believe we missed it. Roll the blue bones should well be the slogan going forward.
In that case, to be greeted by your home after such an absence is to expect change. That is the way of the world. But to see your home engulfed with an infestation, both full of the life of another plane, and also the absence of its own, that is not natural. That acrid tang of the abyss still lingering also, all one too familiar sensation. Highkeep itself is sat atop the Partisan, the low peak that overlooks the surrounding homes. Meant to be a beacon, a constant against tyranny. And now, it stands alone. What will you do?
I'm going to guess, Conrad, that Highkeep did not always look so. You never mentioned the mushrooms.
No. It appears that in my absence, both myself and Highkeep have grown in some form or other. Although it appears that Highkeep has not grown for the better.
Can I do some kind of check, please, to determine whether the landscape that we're seeing matches with the magic that I detected? Are we seeing some kind of encroaching of the Feywild onto Highkeep?
Give me...
Knowledge of Planes.
Assuming you're doing this with read and detect magic as well.
Well, it's already on. They're both already on. I just cast them, didn't I? So,
in that case, yeah, you can give me a knowledge of the planes.
Okay. I'm just copying this for the day, so I don't have to keep typing it. $29.
The landscape, at least that you can immediately see, matches most descriptions you've read and you've studied about the Feywild. And even seeing that flecks of magic in the air, like dust, fairies. You remember very briefly when you were in the Feywild back in Kellowin. You took a little trip to a Fey creature, and that similarities remain. So with that, and what you can see with your detect and the read magic, this is as if the Feywild has broken through. As if somehow seeds have been planted, so to speak, and they have broken through the reality of the material plane to coexist at the same time. What you can sense and read coming from the top of the Partisan, from the keep, almost is the Feywild and the Abyss. It is both but neither. What sits at the top of the Partisan no longer to you reads as the material plane. Can you give me a spot check as well, Bracken?
Oh, just Bracken?
Just Bracken.
Oh, okay. I'll do my best. Spot. 23.
I say spot because this would have either you would need to have focused on it specifically, or in your case, you just caught this. But while there is the feeling of the Feywild and the Abyss. And at the top of that is both. You can detect other magic, actual magic, and there's 2 spots of it. Very faintly, upon the slopes of the Partisan, you can detect a whole heap of abjuration and conjuration and divination magic. But not too far from where you are, you can faintly make out conjuration, transmutation, some universal magic as well. Something not too far from where you are.
Conrad, I'm going to say a lot of things right now, and I need you to promise to just bear with me. In no short term, Bracken will explain what you've just relayed to me, Mike. So Conrad has exactly the same information that Bracken has. He'll simply say, to cap it off, so in short, there appears to be some diabolical combining of the Abyss and the Feywild, as if both are merging into your homeland, I am sorry to say. And judging from the magic of many schools that I am sensing from even here, it would seem that we are not the first to arrive. Whether that power is being used to fight back against this force, to perpetuate it, or to learn about it, is yet to be discovered. Though we learned the Synod had arrived here too, and if they're anything like those that went to investigate the Aurora Schism, the shift and crack in reality to the north, then the Synod would be drawn here too. There is much to consider and little time to deal with it. We must act quickly.
Then let's away.
Away! And towards it we shall go.
And you enter Highkeep. Anywhere in particular at this point, or are you just walking?
Are we going towards the closest source of magic?
Up to you, Conrad. Bracken will advise. This is your homeland. If there's any advantage to be gained, it's with your knowledge of this place. Where would you go? Or where's the best port of call? I would say if there's an emergency in Highkeep, but from what you've described to me, there's not really ever been such an incursion.
No. If the lords were all called here, though, they would be called to the peak.
Then it is to the peak we must go.
Very well. You proceed through Highkeep. And as you move through the lower settlement, I will say this. I say lower settlements, but the architecture, albeit now with some abundance of plant life, still seems above what you would normally see for the lower classes. There is a lot of respect in the architecture here, and it seems those who live here lived well. As you are moving through, I will permit both of you a listen check.
Ooh.
Very well.
Okay, listen is
20 from Conrad.
17 from Bracken.
Bracken, you don't. Perhaps you are focused on these magical properties that you sense. But Conrad, you can hear maybe a few streets away, which is impressive, but in a settlement so quiet, you envision maybe even a pebble drop you would hear. But you can hear clattering, shuffling, what sounds like talking.
Conrad will turn to Bracken and say, though it appears most of Highkeep is silent, I do detect a few streets that way, I believe. Somebody is awake and moving around.
That tells us
investigate.
That tells us one of two things. Either that they are exempt from the power, or they are strong enough within themselves to resist the aura that has beset this place. We must move with caution, though I fear stealth may not be our forte.
Clank, clank. The other members of the Free Company, sadly, were the stealthy section, or they often got themselves into more scrapes than they managed to avoid.
That's true.
Yes.
Though I have to say, I do wish we had both the hawk-like eyes of Orazio, or the deft footsteps of Trout, for both could scout the way. But
or indeed, Rust and Rufus.
Yes. For Rufus could soar above as a bird of some kind, or slither forth as an octopus plant, whatever that is. I'm still not sure. And indeed, Rust, perhaps an even deft gaze than his younger brother.
And certainly capable of filling anything he saw with arrows.
Yes, that's also, yes, that will be missed. We will have to make do in their absence. Let us approach, let us not draw attention to ourselves, but let us not attempt to make any show of hiding, for I feel it might be pointless.
A little counterproductive.
And in fact, perhaps it will draw the attention of those that we need to speak to. Perhaps it isn't all a bad thing.
Very well. As you move towards the sound of the commotion, Bracken, you can sense. How long does your detect magic last for?
It's just one of those that, because it's a first level, I just say, "Oh yeah, I do it," and don't actually look up a spell. So I will.
Doing it.
Yeah, I'm just doing it.
I imagine it's one of those you can just.
It lasts a while, I believe. Yeah, let me just see. Detect magic. Here we are. Detect magic is one standard action, range 60 feet, duration concentration, or up to 1 minute per level. So we'll say that Bracken is just holding it for the time being, but then when he stops concentrating, it will be there for 20 minutes. Yep.
That's fine. You can sense where you're going. Some magic occurring. Like, actually, give me a spellcraft, and I can tell you what it is, if you figure it out.
Gladly.
And you can both also give me a listen check afterwards.
Okay. Well, I'll do your listen, because my listen's right there. That's a 1 on the die, but thankfully it's a skill, so 14.
Which is still better than Conrad.
And my spellcraft, let's find out. Spellcraft is silly. 46. I made the spell.
You detect a gate spell, in essence, is being used to open a portal between two places.
Yes, I know the spell. I know it.
As for the listen check, you don't hear all of what I'm going to say, so I'll ignore the first 2 lines, but as you get closer, you do hear this. Well, Bracken hears this, Comrade, you don't.
Oh.
You hear the sound of a deep voice going, I would consume this one, but without crushing the joy and hope myself. What would be the point?
Conrad, there is one that boasts of crushing joy and reveling in despair ahead. Can we see in the distance? You said like the streets are empty. Can we see ahead of us that?
You can, yes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you over now to what you see ahead of you.
Oh God!
You're at the bottom when you appear.
Map.
You see.
Oh wow!
Demons.
Oh.
You see what looks like, at some point, may have been a farmer's market, maybe, or a fair. There's still some bunting going up. You can see stalls of food just abandoned and left, but you can also see mushrooms and ulcers piercing through the ground. That magical energy's permeating from this abyss wild, to give it such a loose merging of names. And you see in front of you, initially, a large creature, and holding in his hand the limp body of a person, just by the head, as they hang by their neck, by the top of their head, holding over a gate, and then drops them in as someone vanishes through the gate. You see, and I don't need to make you roll for this, if there's anything you guys know, it's demons. You recognize two of the creatures that are here.
Oh my
Balor,
God.
and the two that scurry around on a snake-like body further, Mariliths. Demons with 6 arms and 6 swords. Balors, you know, with a Vorpal longsword and a flaming whip. You're enough away that you can decide if you wish to go in behind a house, go down the path, or just make your presence known. I've put you at the bottom, assuming that you can see at least. But one thing that does happen, as this person is just dropped into this portal, the gate vanishes.
Oh my God.
The memory of fighting a Balor stands out in Bracken's mind. It was a Balor that they faced at the gates of a gleaming extraterrestrial or extra-dimensional, plane. And it was one of them gave them significant trouble. So to face not only one of those, but 2 of them, and accompanied by Mariliths, them in themselves, deadly foes, is something that gives Bracken significant pause. And he'll look to Comrade. Are we, because on the map it shows we're next to it, are we a bit further down the street?
Yeah, so you're further down the street, so you can see in the distance what's going on, but I will say this, the longer you dally, eventually they may see you. So Bracken, you have decisions you can make.
Bracken needs only do one thing, and he looks to Conrad and says, "What would you do, Conrad?"
Well, I don't like the idea of leaving demons in Highkeep.
No.
And demons are our speciality.
Demons are our speciality. Let us try and focus fire on each of them. Agreed?
Okay. Yeah, agreed.
Hopefully, if they've not seen us, we might be able to get I might be able to get a surprise spell in. So as we've acted quickly, Bracken is just going to look down the From when we faced them before, I'm pretty sure I did a check, Mike. So Bracken would know this. I'm happy to roll again, though. And determine if we remember any vulnerabilities from when we faced it previously. Or faced the Balor previously. Because he knows and I know they're immune to certain things, but I'm hoping Bracken would remember that life-altering event, even if I don't.
Yes. You know pretty much that Balors, like most demons, have immunities to certain things. Immune to electricity.
I was going to say lightning's definitely one.
Immune to poison. And for a Balor also, immune to fire. For the rest... No, because this is standard for demons for the most part. They also have resistances to acid and cold.
So that leaves very little room to play with.
And of course, damage reduction, spell resistances. You know you're dealing with
very
stuff.
Well. Bracken will look to Conrad and say, do we draw them to a particular position? I don't like the idea of being bottlenecked in here, but at least they can't get behind us easily.
I think they will be able to outmaneuver us regardless, won't they? With wings and the speed of the things, I think we're probably as much of a muchness.
Okay, Bracken is going to he's going to cast Project Image now, because he's going to do it anyway. And he's going to cast Project Image so a copy of himself appears in that alleyway just here. He remembers that the Balor's gaze is that of true seeing, as he recalls. Really, they have the capability to see through most guises, so this is more to have options rather than to fully trick them with illusions. And he will say, the next thing that I plan to do will draw their ire, Conrad.
I'm sure we'll be drawing plenty of ire. There'll be ire to go around, don't worry, Bracken.
Very good. Then, if they wish to open holes in our world, let me deliver them into one themselves, and Bracken will reach out a hand, aiming well within the range of 100 feet plus 10 feet per level, at the base of the statue that stands there. And there is a sudden rupturing tear as Bracken casts Reality Maelstrom, and a hole opens in the world. A lightning strike and a tearing sound of thunder fills the area as a hole in space opens. Wind rushes into the void, and objects nearby lift into the air as everything is drawn inexorably toward the rip in reality. So, the Reality Maelstrom has a primary area and a secondary area. The primary area, the hole itself, is a sphere 20 foot in radius, centered on the spell's point of origin. So 20 foot radius there.
Okay. Something like that.
Okay, the rip also creates a windstorm of air that affects objects and creatures in the secondary area of the spell. The secondary area is a space farther than 20 feet from the... Is the space farther from 20 feet of the spell's point of origin, but not farther than 40 feet away. What a weird way to write it. Just tell us how it is. So, not far... So, that's so weird. The secondary area is all the space farther than 20 feet from the spell's point of origin, but not farther than 40 feet away. Okay, so let's just say 40 feet away.
It's like a donut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So 40 feet from its point of origin is the secondary effect.
So... You know what?
I might have actually made a miscalculation with that range there, because we might be in range of my own spell then. We did describe ourselves as being further down the street, but obviously we need to be on the map, so I'm happy to say that that's further away if needs be. Oh, okay, that's fine.
Roughly like that.
That's fine. Oh my god. So, because I got to cast that, they immediately... So everyone in the secondary area, first of all, gets a reflex save.
DC?
It's my highest. A reflex save of 28.
28.
Yes.
We'll start with the Marilith. That's a 19 on the die. The Marilith is okay. The Balor that's looking at the fish on the table.
Looking at the fish. Just wants a bit of fish, mate.
That Balor is okay. The Balor with his back to you at the front. Oh, that's a 2 on the die. What happens to him?
So he's dragged into the first area. So anyone who fails this is basically pulled into the main area. Yep. Immediately pulled in.
Cool, so those two are there.
Okay. What about the other Marilith?
Well, she's in the primary area. Or it's in the primary
sorry,
area.
that one was for that one. Okay, gotcha. Right, so... Okay, so all those... If that's done, then all of those in the primary area must make a will save. And
DC,
you know what? It's exactly the same, and you know what happens if they fail that.
The Marilith. That Marilith is not successful. We'll deal with that in a moment.
Okay.
The Balor. That Balor rolled a 19. A 2 then a 19. So, he is okay. But, drags towards the centre, and unfortunately for that Marilith who was busy looking at the statue, so close it didn't realise what had happened as it lets out a... as it is ripped, vanished.
Pulled into the void. Back into the void. Ha! And off it goes. So we can determine where it lands another time.
I can do it right now for you.
Okay. Duration is around, so that's that.
Do you want to give me a D100?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It'll still be there for the duration, so they have to save. It's a whole round, so I don't know why you've done that, actually, Michael.
Well, I can just draw another one.
I will roll a D100 whilst you draw another one. 51.
There we go. 51.
Aye.
That Marilith, oh dear, has landed in the peaceable kingdoms of Arcadia.
Not peaceful for much longer.
Oh
no.
With that, so this lasts until your turn, I guess.
Yeah. Well, a round, so... But as we're out of initiative, then... It will be there for the starting round, I guess, is the way to determine that, because we don't know who's going to go first, right? So...
True that. So, I need you to roll initiative. And I can delete that one completely.
That's a 15 from Bracken. And as initiative is rolled,
17 from
haste
Conrad.
is cast as a contingency. And I shall mark both those spells off my list.
Almost. There we go. And then that goes there. Of all of them, the Marilith goes first. The one at the top. Now, as far as I'm aware, it would be on the top of your round the effects would kick in, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, so I've just read further. I'm very sorry, because I've wasted a bit of your time there, Michael. Individuals who succeed on either saving throw can move and attack as normal. They all there succeeded on at least one of those saving throws, so they can move as an attack as normal. It is still there, it's just not going to be effective.
Then I will get rid of the circles for now then.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
say for now.
apologies.
That's okay. Forever. The Marilith goes first. And turning around to see you all there, or at least down the street, not sure fully what's going on, it slithers somewhere. It gets to there. And then it's just... It's going to have a look down the road. Or get to there. There you go. Moving around the ulcers, the mushrooms, the corruption that hits the bottom of the land. And unfortunately, this Balor goes before you both. It looks and it can see down what's happening, and it gives a gesture, and with its gesture you see this whip come into its hands, and this Vorpal longsword just conjure into being. That just happens. But what he then does, with a flourish, you see a black smoke seem to just move around the Balor, as if it's auraed by something. That is all it will do. Comrade.
I didn't say at the time, but would you permit me to have declared a stance before we started?
Yes.
I'll do Thicket Blades. And then I'm not going to go far, I just want to get just ahead of Bracken. So Conrad takes a couple of steps forward, swinging the chain round, readying himself, because he can't actually reach anyone, I think, even if he went his full movement, he'd have to charge, and I don't particularly think charging that way is a great idea. But I will, just in case the other Balor is about to go, Conrad will invoke White Raven's Tactics as a swift action, which means an ally within 10 feet of me becomes my initiative -1, so Bracken comes up in the order just under mine,
Very
just
nice.
in case the other Balor would go first.
Amazing.
And that is the end of my turn.
Excellent stuff, and that move comes with some foresight, because the Balor looks as if it was about to act, but instead, Bracken.
Okay, hang on a second. I didn't realise that was going to happen.
So Conrad, steps forward, and then he's like, "Bracken, go again. I'll hold them back."
Incredible. Bracken is going to... If it's all right for me to make a check on... Because, like you say, we know demons well. Is there a check that I can make about the knowledge of... Not the Balor, but the other kind. I've forgotten their name, sorry. The
Marilith.
The Marilith. Is there a check that I can just generally do, or is that going to take part of my turn to do?
Well, you know that they're going to have similar resistances as
It's
these
not
are
about.
a lot
It's
of them
not
are
about.
shared.
It's not about what resistances it has. It's about something just about the creature. But I don't want to declare that until I know whether or not I'm get to do it.
You would need to make a check.
Will that cost
Yeah,
me any actions? Is what I mean.
It's free, so you can make the check.
Okay, great. So, knowledge planes or knowledge planes, great. Okay, looking at the Marilith through the eyes of his projected image, because you can see there, he can see round that corner with his conjured image there. Bracken sees the Marilith slithering forth with a 23. He wants to know if there's anything in particular that Mariliths are particularly afraid of, if there's something that they are innately fearful of, whether that be an angelic presence or if that be some other power of this world. He doesn't know, but is there anything they might be scared of that Bracken would know with a 23? It's okay if not, just curious.
Demons are typically... I mean, they're base creatures. They hate, they fear, and typically what they hate and fear are things stronger than them. And things stronger than Marilith, there's not much. Balors, certainly. You can imagine the Balors are leading what's happening here. The Mimixicus, the true name for a demon you fought before, is another type that might have inspired such dread. However, that's the only demons you've really encountered, but in terms of power, it's something that would give cause for concern.
Bracken's illusionary form holds aloft the crystal that holds the Mimixicus, the great demon that he'd captured and imprisoned within a diamond, and will say, "Behold, one of the greatest of your kind fell by my power." As Bracken asks the Mimixicus, not the Mimixicus, the Marilith, please, to make a will save of 26. He does not have to make the save if he has more than 40 hit die.
Just casually carrying around a demon queen and a diamond.
Demon king.
That was the
demon
king.
prince.
Yeah, the prince. Yeah, that was
The firstborn of the Pale Knight.
yeah.
Doesn't have 40 hit die. You know, I will just check that. That's the one thing I didn't put down, and I should know now
Well, it's
with
his
what
level.
Bracken can do.
It's his level. So if it is level 40,
Well, no, because sometimes hit dice
that's
changes.
true. That's true. But
I
if
can
it is
assure you
with,
it does not.
Okay, I was going to say if it does have, then we're so screwed.
But can I just check? Is this a illusion of sorts?
It is not. No, I will describe what Bracken does. You can tell me if it works. He holds it forth and tries to show off his power. The reason I asked if I know what they're afraid of is because if you use... I'll say what he does. He holds up this crystal as he casts Banishment. And you can improve the spell's chance of success by presenting at least one object or substance that the target hates, fears, or otherwise opposes. For each object or substance, you gain a +1 on your caster level check to overcome the target's spell resistance, if any. And the saving throw of the DC increases by 2. So the will save that he needs to make is a 28, or be banished.
Very good.
28 will save. That is a 19 on the die.
I suggest you get different dice, because that's the fourth 19 you've rolled.
I like my dice.
I know you bloody do. Okay, yeah, it doesn't work.
Because you weighted them, you bastard.
It doesn't work.
What have I had?
That's Bracken's turn.
You definitely give the Marilith cause for concern, and even though it feels its essence being ripped away, it clings on to this reality for a bit longer. It is this Balor here. It spins around. Again, blade and whip into hand. But what it does, again, it motions for this black smoke, like just a cloud moving around its person, engulfing it. But it's a quickened action. It just flicks its sword, and pretty much everything on that table, not only that, but scraps of wood, planks, boxes, everything flies off to the two of you as it quickens telekinesis. I need, of both of you, your armor classes, please.
27.
25.
Oh. Actually misses with both of you. As you both dodge camembert, brie, planks of wood, boxes,
Various cheeses
as they fly through the air, just trying to trivialize the danger you're in.
Some Edam gets swiped out of the sky.
Ooh. Unfortunately, though, we are back to the top of the round, and the Marilith swoops around the corner. It doesn't seem fazed with what illusion is there, as if it sees through it.
Has he done... Oh, I see. Cool.
It can get to there, which I know... Are you still in your stance?
Attack of opportunity, yeah. I am in my stance. I'll give him... them a thwap, hopefully. 49.
Oh, yes!
It won't be a lot of damage, sadly, for... 22 points. It's not bad, but...
It's not bad. That's a definite hit as the Marilith approaches you, and it just gets in the way of
whips out and smacks it before it can hit him.
Oh, nice. Unfortunately, it does get one attack, as one of its 6 arms, one longsword, is able to just reach around and try and get you in the side. Your armor class was 28? 27, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, 28, sorry, with haste. Right?
Haste, yeah.
That is a hit, as this longsword just... I'm going to drop that everywhere. As a longsword just hooks around and cuts across your armor. You remember that feeling of an abyssal cut. And it does 15 points of damage.
15.
Yes.
Great.
1,000.
15,000 points of damage. You're dead. You're dead.
You're just dead. It is... Yeah. Just swooped in there. But you can see now all 6 of its hands seem to be recoiling and getting ready, but that is all it can do. This Balor by the fish.
Throws a fish at us. Throws a kipper across the...
He throws a kipper. Not quite. This Balor flies up to here, just landing on top of the roof, and it lifts its sword up high, and you can both look up and see as if the sky is on fire, as it rains flame, ember, as a firestorm is dropped on the two of you. I need a reflex save from the both of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Firestorm, eh?
I will...
Reflex, did you say? Yeah, definitely reflex.
Yes.
32.
Definitely reflex. Oh.
I don't know whether or not to use Dire Defense on this, or... Yes, I'll use Dire Defense on this. There's no point saving. Foolish. 38.
You both are able to start dodging a lot of the heavy rain. It's not enough unless you only have evasion.
No, but that should actually be +1 each because of haste, so 39 and 33. But no, I don't have evasion, sadly.
In that case, you both take half, as you both take 41 points of fire damage.
That's half.
That is half.
Okay.
That is its turn.
41.
Conrad. 41.
Okay.
Sorry, I've just got to do maths now. Stupid damage pool, man.
Oh yeah, I was going to say.
How much do you take now?
26. I'll just leave that there for now because you'll have to. Anyway, okay, great, good. Conrad's going to change his stance initially. He plants his feet now and draws on the roots of the mountain stance as he sees the 6 blades about to swing at him. And then I will take 5 off this for no, I'll take 5 off this for combat expertise, so I can add that to my armor class.
Yes.
In the next round, or for the next round, I should say. And then he will once again draw on the power of the mountain and strike the snake in front of him with a mountain tombstone strike.
Amazing. Let this be his tomb.
Exactly. 40 on its armor class.
A definite thwack.
Should have taken some of my stone power off. So it takes a mere 26 minimum damage.
Minimum
It
damage.
also takes
Oh god.
7 points of constitution damage.
Oh.
As he brings the chain and slams it down into the ground.
Now I need to do some maths. Give me a
The
second.
mountain pushing back up, sandwiching the creature.
And with the partisan there as well, being in brigands, following the mountains around you, it's just empowering that strike. You know these mountains.
They're my mountains.
And take that off there. Oh, you... Okay. And then...
And then...
There you go. It is a devastating hit. You bring your home down upon this demon, and it staggers. It almost seems to drop its weapons as it's fumbling to grab them, as it's part of its slithered tail is just shattered, and its body caved in places. Brutal.
You're coming here.
It hisses at you.
I don't know what it says. I don't speak Abyssal.
That's fine.
Sully my tongue with that.
You will never know. Bracken, unless you got anything else, comrade.
No, that's it for me.
Bracken is going to throw out both of his arms wide as he quickens a 3rd level spell, which I think is going to be worthwhile. Suddenly, Bracken appears to be standing not beside Bracken, but beside Bracken. Sorry, Bracken is that. Actually, no, he is standing next to Bracken because Bracken suddenly is zoom, 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 seemingly vanishing and appearing in multiple places at the same time as he casts Blink, which provides him a mischance of varying degrees of effectiveness, depending on certain things. So he quickens that and begins zoom, 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 appearing in and out of the physical and ethereal planes. And he is going to... Do we go for one of the big ones? Let's see what they've got. Bracken is then going to reach out a hand at the Balor that is furthest away, that he has line of sight of.
Yep. That's fine.
And he's going to say, I name you, demon Balor, into the depths! Please roll a will save of... I believe it's 28, but I will check. 28, or be imprisoned.
Forever! Is it 19 again?
Actually, it's the opposite end of this spectrum. What is it like as you utterly devastate as he rolls a 1?
Perfect. The smoke clears from his firestorm, and like the Balor sees one Bracken, then another Bracken, then another Bracken, and his voice is like a cacophony around him for a moment, and then suddenly a great power smites the Balor and traps him thousands of feet beneath the earth. A freedom spell, his only hope of ever returning, as Bracken imprisons him with the spell Imprison, which sends you deep beneath the earth. That is Bracken's turn.
Absolutely.
Too deep.
Well, it was the dwarf's folly. Absolutely brilliant. You send it reeling just as it was raising its sword to do something against you. Gone. Which means we are back to the top of the round as it's
I'm so sorry.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. I think I've made a terrible error.
Does it not affect?
Attention.
It's a touch spell.
Oh.
I'd already cast Blink. So that otherwise I would say I'd zip towards him and try and get a touch on him to try and justify that, but that's my bad. I didn't look it up, but
okay.
So yeah, I don't know how to rule that. I do apologise. That's my bad. I suddenly looked and I was like, no, you gotta be honest. That's a touch spell.
No, under different circumstances, if it was some other reason, like didn't work on extra plan out or something like that, I would have just said, okay, he rolled a 1, he'd come back the next turn, I'll give you that. However, if it's a touch, what I will say is you would know this, So you've taken your action swift to blink. You have your remaining actions.
Oh,
Let you have those. You can move and normal. I'm not going to penalise you for a mistake.
Well, admittedly, you can't cast a spell if you don't have the range profile, so you can't technically cast a spell anyway, so... But I appreciate that. Instead, then... man, that sucks. But you know what?
Can you cast it through your illusory thing? Could you send that in? Would that be a movement action?
You're absolutely right. I can use my movement, which is hasted, to get to him. So, Mike, if he can get to him, so my illusionary guy, while he knows it's an illusion, I can still deliver spells through it. So, if you don't mind, if I can make a touch attack on him, which, to be fair, could be unlikely, can the spell activate if I use my movement with my projection to do it?
Yes.
Perfect.
And if the touch lands, I will not make you roll again. I will not roll again. I will take it as what it was.
Generous.
If it doesn't land...
It's every chance that it won't, because while I have an okay attack, it's not great. 21 on his touch.
He's a big boy. What is it like? As it succeeds again.
So we succeed again. So the smoke clears. Bracken is blinking around. He's distracted by Bracken blinking around. Bracken thinks he's made a mistake for a second, but then he sees that his image has appeared next to him. He transfers his consciousness to the projected image and touches the Balor and sends him reeling into imprisonment. Apologies.
That's
fine. That is my turn. Rusty.
So that image kind of acts like a spectral hand, then, to an extent.
Yeah, I can deliver I can deliver my consciousness into it and channel spells through it at will.
Yeah, because you're right. The Balor see what it is.
Yeah, but I can still deliver spells through it. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Excellent stuff.
Yay.
Oh my god. Squeaky bum time.
I shall get rid of that health again. Excellent stuff. As one Balor is cast far beneath Highkeep. But we're back to the top of the round. And the Marilith is hungry. Comrade, what is your modified armor class?
My modified armor class is an absurd 33.
You're not going to like this. Of the 6 arms, its top right one looks the most muscular, and this one
big arm.
One big arm. It comes in for several attacks. So on 30.
33.
33
with haste, right?
Yeah, that's including the extra ones.
So
okay, all right.
First attack hits. Second misses. Third misses. Fourth misses. 1 from its primary. However, its 5 other arms get an attack.
Of course they do.
Miss. Possibly a critical on a 19.
Yeah!
That's a possible critical.
Oh my
so
god.
That's 3 in total. That's a miss. That's 4. That's another 19. This dies.
Bin it.
That's another possible. That's just a hit. So that is 1. That's 3, but one of them is possibly a critical.
Yeah.
I will do this publicly as always. 45, which I think is multiplier plus 1. One of these is especially cutting, which means that's basically 4 attacks coming in.
But I do get damage reduction 2 from my stance. So
and he's got 6 arms, so it could have been worse. Well, she's got 6 arms.
Could have been much worse.
Yep.
Doesn't seem to have stopped, though. I'm just doing it now.
Right.
I'll give you the total, and then you could subtract your damage reduction from each.
Okay.
So that is... You take, over the 4 hits, 62 points of damage. Sorry, 3 hits, but the critical as well.
62 points of damage, so that's 56.
So you took 62 points of damage from 3 attacks, one of them being a critical, and the tail completely missed. And then a good portion of that went into your damage pool?
Yeah, 30 of it went into my damage pool. Which does hit me, but not till
next round. I mean, from this Marilys point of view, it's just... What did we describe it in Knights of the Apocalypse? Like, the meat grinder.
Yeah.
This is a solo meat grinder. You're trying to dodge and deflect all these, but 6 attacks pretty much coming in at once. It's ridiculous. One of them 4 times. Just... You are able to just jump over its tail as it looks like it's trying to slap and grab you. But it fails. That is its turn. We cut to the Balor on the roof. It reaches out a hand to you, Bracken.
Okay.
And I need you to make a will save, please.
Okay. My will. 24.
For a second, everything is absolutely fine until, for a moment, Comrade looks like an enemy, but then he's not. The houses seem to move around you as if you're drunk. Then they stop. The Balor seems to just spin on the spot, and then he's not. You hear voices babbling behind you. You see colours that aren't there. Bracken, you are insane. As you know, insanity is permanent unless some form of cure is done upon it. Are you able to get the insanity table?
I can get the insanity table if you want me to, yeah.
Confusion table. It's essentially permanent confusion.
Yeah.
Just because, as you know, for the start of every round, you need to do a roll to see what Bracken will do.
But that's outside of combat. I'm just permanently insane.
You're permanent confusion.
Yes.
Until some form of healing happens.
Wow. Okay. What do I roll now?
On your turn.
Okay.
That was its standard action, and as a movement, it just jumps down and strolls over. You can see as it's moving, it's just letting its sword just drag across the pavement. It's just letting a flaming whip as well just follow behind it. Remember how Whiplash just drags those weapons behind him? It's just... At this moment, it's very confident.
It probably should be.
At this moment. However, that is its turn. Comrade.
So first of all, Conrad realises he should have been using his actual weapon abilities, and his holy chain lights up.
Oh, God.
As he whispers the name of Euphoria, who is his, of course, Fae. What's the word? Not deity, the
Patron.
Yeah,
patron.
Yeah.
And then he channels his strength as well. So I'll make this a smite. I'll put smite onto this. And then, because I haven't seen what's happened to Bracken, I don't think I would know that he would need to be healed at this point. I think that would be too metagamey.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and strike the... I've forgotten the name of the snake demon. The snake demon.
The Marilith.
And the Marilith, thank you. Once again, taking inspiration from his surroundings, he'll strike it with an ancient mountain hammer. I'll take 5 off for combat expertise, and I'll also take 5 off for... That's not going to make any difference. I'll just take 5 off for combat expertise.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's any point trying to take 10 off. It's not going to help. There we go. 46, I should have done it.
It is a definite hit.
Conrad does 108 points of damage.
Wow.
Describe to me how you take the Marilith 4 points under 0, and as such, returning it to the abyss. As it destroys.
So I think the... it's the classic thing of he wraps the chain around his hand as it glows white hot, and then leaps into the air. Just for a second, those wings, not quite fully unfurling, but just giving him an extra lift into the air, the sort of leaf-like wings behind him, and then he brings it down straight through the thing's heart, just burning, and then it explodes into the abyss.
That is a...
And then lands a 3-point landing. Cracks the pavement.
That's epic. Not said that yet. Brilliant stuff. And that's 2 Mariliths now dead. Well done, comrade. Bracken, I need a D100 off you. Unless, wait, comrade, do you have anything else you want to do?
No, I'm done.
Okay, I have the confusion table. It's Bracken's turn now, right?
It is, yeah.
Here we go. 34.
Oh no.
Bracken rolls between 21 and 50, which on the table means do nothing but babble incoherently. So both he and his illusionary projected copy just start gabbling inanely and wildly in the streets. That is Bracken's turn.
Just preaching and different languages that Bracken can speak, all just merging into one. Just.
And then I saw a chestnut. Oh, I found it funny. He's just going mental. But hopefully that draws the attention of Conrad, because, like, it is babbling, so it's not like it's subtle.
Very much so.
But that's his turn.
We're back to the top of the round, and the Balor. You're no longer in Thicket of Blades, are you?
I'm not.
Hang on. It was there, wasn't it?
It was.
I lose. Again, getting confused because it's a large creature. He's just going to go there. He can reach you from there.
I can reach him too.
But he just comes this time, lifting up this sword and attempts to cut. And he's going for the neck.
Fucking head off.
Well, that's what he's hoping for. You'll be relieved that is not a 20.
That is a relief.
but it is still a hit. 33, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's 18 points of damage as this longsword just rips through you. But you shrug it off.
Yeah, it just goes into the damage pool. I'll feel that later.
Yes.
And it's actually 16 because of damage reduction, unless it's got
No, it will. It's affected by damage reduction, so 16 it is. But that is its turn. Comrade.
Unfortunately, my maneuver's just refreshed, and I didn't get my heal ability, so I can't.
Don't worry. If
heal Bracken yet.
Don't worry.
But what he will try and do is he'll try and do exactly the same thing that he just did, the Marileth, by using a second smite. But this time, we'll add in a one mighty blow, which is his belt, which gives him extra bonus should he successfully hit, of course. Again, I'll take 5 off just to put on my armor class to try and save my neck. Does 46 hit?
46 does, yes.
Excellent. I said ancient mount hammer. I said the same thing, didn't I? So
Yes.
I'm not trying to trick you. This obviously ignores damage reduction, and is one mighty blow, smite, holy damage. 112 points this time.
Ooh.
As he once again, he takes the hit and then rears back, jumps into the air and smashes down again, the wings appearing briefly behind him, the sort of soft falling leaves as he lands. But probably doesn't kill it this time.
You notice with this, that punch does cause it to stagger onto its back leg, but then he just steps forward again. However, as you made contact, the unholy aura that surrounds the Balor just creeps into your flesh. I need you to make a fortitude save, please.
Fortitude. I also didn't get my down in defense, but that's fine. My fortitude should be okay. 29.
Just. You don't take any strength damage as you feel the unholy aura just weakening you, but you shrug it off.
Chain versus whip.
Very nice. Anything else?
And that is all I can do.
An exceptional blow. Bracken.
So, for the purposes, for those who are unable to see the Twitch chat, all this time, Bracken has been babbling things. My grandma was a cuckoo. I made a small business selling other people's shoes. I have a mysterious smell. He it's just like rambling, like wildly, like just anything that you can think of is just like pouring out of his mouth. There's a small chance that Bracken can save himself. If he can act normally, but that's such a slim chance. I don't foresee it happening. We shall see. I have it ready. I'm just going to open the table again because I foolishly closed it. There it is. Okay. Bring me fortune. Oh, no. That is the same. I found aphids in my coffee. That's his turn.
Aphids.
As this looming death, like with a flaming sword and whip, advances on him, he's just going blah, 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 blah. That's my turn.
That is unfortunate.
Oh, it is unfortunate. Big time. It's unfortunate. I can't think of anything else it could be classed as. Oh my god. That's his turn. Thank you for your attention.
We're back to the top of the round. The Balor has closed the gap with you, comrade.
He certainly has.
And with a flex, as he rolls his arms back, goes for a full attack. 33.
Indeed.
Let's just make that a bit louder for this.
Did you just roll a crit?
No, I just wanted to make it louder.
Let me turn up the music while your head falls off your shoulders.
First attack is a hit. Second attack, possibly a critical, but that's a threat, not a 20.
Fuck.
Vorpal only counts on a natural 20.
Yeah.
But it's possibly a critical. That's a miss roll.
Oh, it missed. Nice.
That's a critical. For its second attack, its third.
A 19, Michael.
Its third attack misses. As does its fourth. 2 attacks come in and hit you from the longsword. I will do the whip as well. Or do you want to do the whip afterwards?
No, do it all at once.
Do it all at once.
Yeah, let's see if you can get me.
The whip hits once. The whip rolls a natural 20, but you'll be pleased to know the whip is not Vorpal.
Oh, that's alright then.
Well, that's alright then.
Yeah, it might still be enough, man.
So that's essentially potentially three hits or different, depending what the critical is for that, and the same as well for the whip. Right. The critical for the Vorpal sword. That, I think, is a multiplier +1. Just. That's a multiplier +1. And then, for the whip. Oh!
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh!
No.
Oh dear. That's chest injuries.
Oh, that's really bad.
That's pretty bad.
So, you take... I need the roller for this. You take 51 points of damage from the longsword.
Is that from 2 strikes?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And you take... You take 17 points of damage from the whip.
Yeah. That's 1 strike, isn't it?
2.
2 strikes, oh, okay. That's
But you also take... You take 2 points of constitution damage.
Gosh. Okay. So 30 of that damage goes into the damage ball, 30 goes straight through the HP. And then 2 constitution damage, which takes 20 more hit points off. Okay. He's fine. He's not good. He's not in a good way, but he's not on death's door.
I'm made sure.
Wow.
Yes.
Do you want the final piece de resistance before I give you the full description?
Go on then.
We do oppose grapple checks.
Why?
This is how Bracken got taken out by one previously.
Yeah. Okay. $36, not a good roll. That's fine, but...
You are lucky, because I rolled a 1. As he attempts to pull you against his flaming body, and fails to do so. But this creature takes some heavy hits against you. It's all power, no finesse, as 2 strikes cut into you, missing with the 2-second, the 3rd and the 4th hit. And then this whip cracking across you, with the 2nd attack from the whip just battering you straight into the chest. And you feel ribs just crack. You cough up a small bit of blood.
Yep.
It's now your turn.
Okay. So do I save myself or do I save Bracken?
You should save yourself, because there's every chance that if you don't save yourself, we'll both die. I'll just stand here babbling and getting murdered.
Yeah, but if he kills me and you're babbling, you'll get murdered.
But I think we'll both be dead anyway.
Where is
He seems to be focusing on you. He seems to be, we can hope that he'll focus on you some more. So I would urge you. I would urge you to save yourself. Yes. Yeah. Honestly, you're in worse straits than I am right now.
I've probably still got more hit points than you.
Maybe, but still.
For now, maybe. How much is that? I also can't. It's potentially a long time until. Oh, because I have got the heal.
If I come out of the thing, then I have means to help myself. But it's just whether or not I can. It's whether or not I can stop being insane. It's up to you. Do what Conrad would do. Personally, as a player, I would urge you to take care of yourself, given that he's just battered you, and you got lucky in that round. I would say. So I don't know. It's up to you, man. Do what you need to do.
I think the thing is, the heal spell will come back around, but it might not. I might not. Well, it might not even hit, so let's see. I'll attempt to do a strike of righteous vitality on the bastard in front of me. I'll take 5 off again to put into combat expertise to add to my AC, because I just can't afford to not at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
41 to hit.
41 hits.
Good. So he takes... Oh, that's a lot of 1s and 2s. 31 points of damage. And then I will... I guess I'll heal myself, because I can come back around to the heal spell. Hopefully it won't be too long. So if that heals Constitution damage, that doesn't give me any extra health from that, does it? That just raises my limit back up.
I mean, if heal would... So yeah, it cures the Constitution damage. It heals you 150 hit points. And if that would then... It goes at the same time.
Okay.
So if with...
If it was going to take it up to that, it would, but not. There's no extra from it.
Yeah, your max goes back up, but you don't get that back as health unless it's included in the 150.
Cool. So Conrad swings the chain round. It smashes into the barrel, wrapped around it for a second, and it's like it's pulling energy through the chain into him, and he just, like his chest cavity, which is a bit cracked and bent, just back out.
Whoa.
Like there's scars on his face, the bits where the thing's been going for his neck, the wounds on his neck re-heal, and he goes back up a fair amount.
At the same time, though, the unholy aura attempts to retaliate upon you. Can you make a fortitude save, please?
Yep. 26, that's not good.
Oh. Unfortunately, you are...
Before or after the heal spell?
Kind of happens at the same time. So, Comrade, roll me a dice. Odds, it comes before, which means it's healed. Evens, it comes after, which means it is then inflicted.
So if I rolled an odd number dice, I'd have a better chance.
You just said roll a dice.
You take 3 temporary strength damage.
Great. Cool. Oh, that's annoying.
As you feel that unholy aura that's moving around him, like that nimbus, that aura, just radiate and poison your being. Not actually poison, but it just fills you. Bracken.
I have the D100 ready, just to catch you up with what Bracken has been going on about. Don't look at the sky, it doesn't trust you. I'll write you poetry, if you can stand it. Owls! Careful, the ink is wet. He's just babbling wildly, just going on and on and on, but there's a bead of sweat running down his forehead as he realises somewhere in his insanity he must understand the peril. Oh god. Bye. Bye! Oh no. That's not what I thought it was. I thought it was flee, it's not. 71 to 100. Attack the nearest creature.
No.
Michael, you can determine the severity of my attack. It says, attack nearest creature. For this purpose, a familiar counts as part of a subject's self, so I can't attack my familiar. Yeah, it just says attack, but I want to know, are you going to say, cop out if I go, I'll fire a magic missile at him? Or if I smash him with a sphere of ultimate destruction, you know what I mean?
A will save.
No, well, no, I mean, listen, it says attack. I don't know why I should be subject to another save. You should just tell me what I should do.
If you pass on the save, I will say you are able to control more so what you're attacking with. If you don't, I'm just going to say this is what you do.
Well, fair enough. If that's how you want to determine that, then that's fair enough. I'm not going to say no to that. That is a natural 20 on the save.
Oh, that's what you need. Just for a moment, you can recognise Comrade as a friend.
Okay.
So you have full choice with what you attack him with. You must attack him, but you have full choice of all your spells, what you use. Or quarterstaff. You could just go up and hit him. You could bonk him on the head.
Bonk. Stop it, Bracken.
Bracken throws the demon's claw dagger at your back.
if you critically miss, you might hit the
it wouldn't do much good because it's an unholy keen dagger that I'm throwing at you, but I thought it has to be a weapon that I have on me. I can't just go rooting around, that's too much. So it has to be something I can do, so screw it. I'm going to throw this dagger at you. 23 to hit.
Not even close.
What
Conrad's train just whips back and catches it out of the air and smashes it into the ground.
Very nice.
As AC is 33, you'd have to roll really quite well.
Like, out of the corner of your eye, you still see Bracken pointing at the sky, yelling, "It doesn't trust us!" That's my turn.
We're back to the top of the round. You're quite right. You've noticed the Balor has it for the moment considers, at least in its eyes, you can assume it doesn't have too much quarrel with the wizard. But the punching, chain-wielding crusader, on the other hand, that's another story. It's doing the same again.
I mean, it'd be foolish to do anything else when it's that close.
33.
Indeed.
First hits. Second misses. Oh. Third. Oh, it hits you on the armor class, but we always said has to exceed. Fourth is a miss.
Yes.
No 19s there.
Just one hit.
The whip is a miss with the first, but a hit with the second. The sword hits you once. The whip hits you again. Maybe all those hits you've currently, those two sizable impacts you've made against it thus far, have shaken it slightly. But the sword does 14 points of damage. The whip, the lowest it could do, it does 5 damage with the whip and 1 fire damage, so 6 in total.
Ooh.
And now, grapple check.
No. Take 4 again.
As if fate is spinning as a stuck record, I roll a 1 again. It's times like this I wish there was a camera here, because that's just ridiculous. Exactly the same rolls from both of us there for the grapple. As the same time again, he tries to latch on to you. Maybe, I don't know, what do you think stops him from grabbing you with the whip?
I think it's Conrad's own chain again. I think it's because it's whipping round it. Like the whip wraps around him and then it just catches the chain in the wrong way, and they like both whip out opposite directions, and sort of just the counter momentum cancels itself out.
Epic, yes, I love it. Although it gets 2 hits on you, it seems to have staggered, like it's winded itself. Comrade, what do you do?
Conrad says, "You seem tired. I'm just getting started." And then he's going to attempt a mountain tombstone strike as he waits for the heal spell to hopefully reappear next turn. Once again, taking 5 off for the old combat expertise. 36 to hit.
That is a miss, I'm afraid.
Oh, that's a shame.
It just gets deflected by that black nimbus moving around it.
Yeah, that's it then. That's he gets one hit around, so miss it. Yeah, you just miss.
I mean, that strike...
Because he didn't do enough damage to me, so my damage pool wasn't full.
I mean, that hit looked like, under normal circumstances, it would have hit home, but that aura that moves around him just kicked in at the last minute and just deflected the chain away. It is a shame. Bracken, firstly, I love everything that's been going in the chat.
All the voles of Midpoint. I took a pottery class. I was the sole survivor. I have a change. I've changed for a platinum piece. Red cloak, yellow king, gutter grey. He just is going crazy. More. Please. I need to roll the right one for just a turn. Just a turn. Bring me fortune. 11! Act normally!
Yes!
I don't believe it. Like, there is a break in the insanity, and Bracken will immediately, without even thinking about it, hand goes straight into his pouch, brings forth one of those scrolls, one of the scrolls he was making on the voyage. It unfurls and then bursts into many colours as he uses a scroll of limited wish, and reality changes. This terrible curse that fell upon him never happened. And its effects wither away on the waves of entropy. Bracken is back in the game. That's his turn.
That is brilliant.
Oh, movement. I take a cure critical wounds potion, which I believe is 4d8.
Yes, plus 20.
That was insanely lucky. That was less than a 10% chance. Well, no, not 10%, sorry, that's not right.
It was a dead-on 10% chance.
Was it 11 to 20 is what I had to get? Yeah. It was. Maths, hooray. 4d8 plus 20. 37 points of HP back.
I mean, just to put that into context, the odds in insanity are that you are either doing nothing
Or running.
Or hitting your nearest person.
Yeah.
They're the two biggest odds there. The second, run away, and then the last is save yourself or just go like gung-ho, Leroy Jenkins to the caster. That would have been awful.
Back in the game.
That is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Excellent stuff. We come back to the top of the round. The Balor, it sees that it sees all. It knows you're no longer into the enchantment, and it just screams out. You see fire just drooling from its mouth. That's just flaming embers just drop. It does one attack on you, comrade. Your armor class is still 33?
It's still 33, yeah.
10. Yeah, that's an easy hit from the sword, which just cuts through your armor for... where before I rolled 2 1s, this time I rolled 2 max. That is 20 points of damage.
Cool, that's all in the damage pool.
He then will provoke an attack of opportunity from you.
I'll take it. All day. So this is still -5. Because it has to be. 34 to hit. Which I think is a miss.
It is a miss. As he goes... 5, 10, 15. He can't fly at this point. 20, 25.
Coward!
Just runs away from you. Just backs off and uses its wings as a springboard to just run to catch its breath. That is what it would do for its turn, comrade.
well, I shall pursue, and it should realise that I've got haste, so I can move much
Zip.
faster than 5, 10, 15, 25, 30, 35, 40. Can I still hit it if I'm there? It's just round the corner.
Yes. He's large.
Great. He's large.
You can see his wings just poking out. He's hiding as well as Trout did in heaven.
Yeah, it's an exact callback to when we last faced this guy. Or one of them.
I will do an ancient mountain hammer. With still the -5 to hopefully this time 38 to hit.
I'm so sorry, that is a miss.
Balls. Yeah, that's another nothing turn, I'm afraid. And that's it.
It almost
I
seemed...
drop back into my stance because I moved more than 5 feet. So
Yeah.
I have to use a swift action to drop back into.
I will say, it almost seemed like it did hit, but that, again, that black nimbus just catches you. It just deflects your chain at the last moment. Bracken.
It moves out of Bracken's field of vision. At least one Bracken's field of vision. Bracken's consciousness snaps to the summoned version of himself, the projected image, who still has clear line of sight on the Balor. And he reaches forward with a hand that begins to tremble and drip with black ink. For the first time, well, in many, many, many days he had to cast this against the dragon. He now finds himself forced into this situation once again, facing a scourge of the abyss. He summons forth the sphere of ultimate destruction. Inky black nothingness roiling upon the terrible Balor. And I've checked, the range is 100 feet plus 10 feet per level, so I definitely don't need to touch him this time.
300 feet.
That's right. So, it lands on him, and he needs to make a fortitude saving throw, which I'm sure he is very capable of doing, of 28. However, it's a question of how many times can he make that roll, as this sphere ain't going no place. It appears upon him and begins roiling and disintegrating at him. Fortitude save 28, please.
Of course. He succeeds.
Okay, he takes 5d6 points of damage anyway. Because even if you... it's the saving throw is fortitude partial. If you save... cool, you just take a small amount of damage rather than the full
Yes.
shebang. Yeah. Okay, so roll 5d6. 17 points of damage. That is Bracken's turn.
Something.
There it is, the animated token. Yes, we have a budget.
This is where the budget went.
This is where the budget went, one spell. Which actually is quite fitting given that my spell budget is in rapid decline. But yes, that's my turn.
Excellent stuff. And yes, as this inky void rips into the Balor, it is now its turn. This one did. So, the Balor is going to swoop up to here, onto the roof. But he can't reach you with his sword from up here, Conrad, but he can reach you with his whip. He's going to attempt to hit you once with a whip. 33?
Yep.
That is a hit, as the whip does. 12 points of damage, 5 of that is fire. And then, let's see if Fate does a third time. A grapple check.
27. You must get me that time.
He certainly does. And this time, catching you from above, you just aren't able to get that maneuver in to block him as this whip of fire just wraps all the way around your waist. And as if you were nothing, he pulls you to him. And you're now slammed into his fiery body. And you take... Michael, calm down. You take 22 points of damage as his flaming body burns into you. And you are stuck there. That whip and his strength is just holding you there, burning you. That is his turn. It's now your turn.
Go on, comrade!
As that happened, none of the damage actually got through to Conrad. It's still in his damage pool.
Yes!
The flames lick up his body,
Nice.
just maintaining eye contact with the Balor. And we'll go for a mountain tombstone strike. And hopefully, because I got a bit more damage in the last turn, this one will actually hit. -5 to the thing to protect my armor class again.
You are in a grapple, technically.
Oh, I thought you were still allowed to.
You're entangled. Okay, yeah, that's fine, because... Yeah.
Yeah.
You've described it before as like you punch with the chain, so...
Oh, yeah.
And it's a maneuver, so... I'm happy for flavor's
The chain
sake.
has a range of... It's not like a... What's it called? One that only hits a 10 feet.
Yeah, typically it's only meant to be light weapons like daggers and short swords, but seeing as I know you've wrapped the chain and used it as a bludgeoning punching weapon, for the sake of the maneuver, I know.
But he is wrapped at a distance with the whip, right? So in actuality, you would need something like a chain to hit back on you, right?
He's against his body.
Oh,
he's pulled him up with the whip, hence why the flaming body is burning him.
Okay, well, if you're happy with that,
I will allow it.
I'll still take the 5 off for AC, although 48, and it's a keen collision chain, so that means that the threat range is doubled to 19.
Which means, we should have known that because some of your earlier hits were 19s.
Yeah, I didn't
However,
check my thing properly.
More importantly, can you confirm it?
Can I? Well, to be honest, it's not going to do that much more damage if it does, to be honest. 32.
Just a hit.
That's alright, because the extra damage is constitution damage on this one anyway, so that wouldn't have doubled. But the physical damage would have done. Which is 41.
Nice.
It's the table we want.
7 again. Constitution.
Give me a moment.
Yeah, you got to do some maths.
So that's gone to there, which means it. Oh, that's substantial amount of hit points it's lost. And you'll be pleased to know, Bracken, that's his fortitude save dropping down as well.
Get in.
Please describe for me how you are entangled against this flaming Balor, yet you still manage to deliver a resounding, crushing attack.
So I think that's exactly what it is. It's a crushing attack. So as the Balor has whipped him in, pulled him in, Conrad whips the chain around the Balor and starts squeezing that as well, crushing it.
Oh,
As
the
he's
bear
held
hug.
against the fire. Yeah, the bear.
You're both just hugging each other. Who will give first? We don't know. Oh, brutal. Excellent stuff, though, Bracken.
Bracken screams from 2 points in the battlefield, his voice emanating from both himself and the projection. And he yells, "Conrad, hold him steady!" As he will easily guide the Sphere of Ultimate Destruction, because it still remains in his movement to get it, so he will move the Sphere of Ultimate Destruction with his action onto the Balor once again. Screaming wildly as he does. It's like he's literally forcing entropy with his mind and willpower to just push this thing up the building. You're watching part of the building be ripped up into it and twisting around into this roiling black nothingness before it collides with the Balor once again. Fortitude save. DC 28, please.
He's gone down a bit. He is still okay.
Why would you do the right thing and die? 12 points. It skims the Balor. That's my turn.
You can both see this creature just looks, as Matt would say, mullered. This is... Its wings have holes in it. It's like one of its horns has just been disintegrated as well by this sphere. But it's clinging on.
Die!
However, he technically has you next to him, comrade.
Yeah.
Which means he can't hit you with the whip, but he can hit you with the sword.
Is it a light weapon?
He's got you there.
He has. No, you're right, because he's above you, which means even if he lets you go to get coverage, he'd just drop you.
I don't know. I feel like maybe he could still use his sword if he's wrapped me with his whip, to be fair.
I'm pretty certain he can.
Yeah.
Both are essentially a part of the
It's
Balor.
even Stevens, isn't it? If Conrad can use his, he can use...
Yeah, it feels unfair to... I would
Yeah,
think
it's really unfair.
Well, the whip is out of action for the time being, but you are still against its burning body. 33.
Yep.
Hit 1 is a hit. Hit 2 is a hit. Hit 3 is a miss. Hit 4 is a miss. 2 hits. You take 32 points of damage from the 2 attacks.
Yeah,
And
28.
23 points of fire damage as its body just singes and you feel your flesh just cracking from the heat. But that is its turn, as it's sort of at this moment where it's like, if I'm going down, I'm just going to hack at you until you die with me. But it is your turn, comrade.
In a one-on-one, who can take more damage? Conrad's in a pretty good state for that, as he tries a strike of righteous vitality. His damage pool is full, so I'll still take the 5 off. Hopefully I won't roll atrociously. 46.
Is a hit.
Fantastic. Looking at the wrong thing, don't want to roll the wrong amount. he takes 39 points of damage. And Conrad receives 150 hit points back.
Oh, go on.
It heals his strength damage as well.
Wow.
What is it like as you take the Balor exactly to 0?
Go on!
I think he's they're tussling, aren't they? They're tussling.
It's a tussle on the roof, yes.
Um,
I will put the Balor looks like at one point he's trying to pull you towards the sphere of ultimate destruction at one point as well. He's like, I will pull you towards it.
and I think that's what Conrad ends up doing. He's like, he lets him go, and he just at the last second does a sort of judo throw, shifts his hips, launches the Balor over, and then wangs the chain, knocking him backwards, and he just stumbles back, and then the sphere of ultimate destruction comes through his chest.
Oh.
And then he goes into a quantum singularity.
Well, he kind of goes through the sphere of ultimate destruction as it just rips through him. And as he's getting ripped in, he just looks at you and smiles as his final essence unleashes death. I need both of you to make a reflex save, as anyone within 100 feet is at risk.
I'm going to use my diamond defense, which I've been...
That is a 34 on the reflex.
holding.
I'm glad you got that.
39.
You are both able to take only half the damage. As he gets pulled into the singularity, what is left just detonates out as a wave of fire engulfs the street of Highkeep. You see part of the mushrooms catch ablaze, some of the farmers' stands, the fish stand, the cheeses, all catch ablaze.
Jesus.
For the love of God, not the cheese.
The Edam is just wrecked.
Toasty.
And the two of you take half damage.
I was
What
about
is it
to
like
say.
as you both take 50 points of damage each? That's half.
Bracken throws himself and he hits the floor, and he's done enough to avoid the initial explosion, but then the following shockwave just then ripples forward, catches him in the chest, and he's thrown against the building to his right, and then fire sort of rains down on him for a moment, and he just hits the fucking deck, because that is a lot for him to take. That was 50 points of damage. Ow.
Yeah.
I think as Conrad hit the Balor back, because he was doing the heal spell, the power generated from his abilities for a second holds strong, and that's what saves him from the full damage. But then he just gets launched backwards with fire, engulfing him, and he lands hard on the cobblestones below.
But you land alive. And I think that is a good place to have a quick loo break, drink break, tea break. So, as always, Rob's lawyer is now here, and
He's got a gun.
I'm advised to tell you that, one, that was epic, and two, both Bracken and Robert Coletta are not actually...
No, I've gone off the stream, no.
spell effect of the Balor, and nothing. Also, if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please give us a like and subscribe, both here on Twitch or on Performance Check, where we Rob's channel, where we host Roll the Bones. And if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can also subscribe on Twitch as well, or donate a subscription. Either way, thank you very much, and we'll see you after the break. Okay. we are back, where we find the Free Company having stood toe-to-toe with demons, Mariliths and Balors, and stand triumphant. And with that, the streets of Highkeep are quiet again. Is there anything you would do at this point?
Conrad turns to Bracken and says, I like that statue. As it's obviously in pieces. Oh, maybe not even in pieces, because you did a reality maelstrom centered on it. It's probably just gone.
Let's, for shits and giggles, can you give me a D100? Let's see where the statue has gone.
That's a good point. It's like the statue is guarded over the central courtyard of the town since the Second Era. D100 is 68.
Well, quite fitting for the statue, for somewhere in the blessed fields of Elysium, it now stands, Vigil.
Oh, listen.
Everything goes to the blessed fields of Elysium. There's at least once a session when Bracken sends something to another dimension.
Oh, they have Reality Maelstrom Prime, so it just gets sent to them in a day. So
Nice.
Cool.
Sometimes it works out, they get a very nice statue, sometimes they get something horrible, or a random spy thug.
Fake statue.
So hang on, because no, I can't remember. Yeah, there was the random thug statue is there, and then like careening out of the sky next to it, like a day later comes this mammoth statue with a shield. I love it so much. Incredible.
This valiant statue just... You're creating a lovely sculpture garden.
Yeah, I really am. Yeah, people are doing well by me. Look, it's a culture share. Embrace it.
From Lavellis to Elysium.
Take a gap year in a different reality. I love it.
But at least it proves the theory about the abyssal influence in the area.
Yeah, so we needed any more confirmation of that. My goodness. I must extend my deepest apologies, Conrad. I found myself to be utterly compromised. If you hadn't displayed such staunch command of your abilities, I dare say that battle could have gone very ill. My thanks.
It was only for a moment, and you know me, Bracken, I love a chance to show off.
Did you catch anything of what I was saying? I can't really...
I was too busy, actually. I didn't hear a single thing.
Okay, well, that's probably for the best.
Although you did keep pointing at the sky.
Do you want to do a sense motive, Conrad?
I'd love to do a sense motive.
And I'll do it against Bracken's bluff.
Ooh. 22.
Only just.
So close.
You don't see us, Conrad. You say, "Well, I didn't really hear you." Like you turn away, and then Bracken's like eyes like go proper shifty because in actuality he remembers everything he said. Don't trust the sky.
Just haunting in his mind.
Yeah, you
What
just
was the sky one? Don't trust the sky. It doesn't.
don't look at the sky. It doesn't trust you. Yeah, and he'll keep like shooting like wary glances above, unsure of where that bit of knowledge came from. But he shakes it off and says, "Conrad, have you need for healing or for need for rest? I know that you are resilient and appear to rejuvenate in the battle, but then that final death throes rocked me to my core."
To be honest, Bracken, I could do with a little rest, but I'm not in too bad shape.
Very well.
But I think we should rest before making our way to Highkeep itself. I think the peak itself, rather. I feel that whatever malice has inflicted itself upon this place probably resides there, and it would be nice to check on my home on the way up if you wanted a rest, aren't we?
I think that might be best. And looking up at the peak, are we talking that this? I'm looking at the illustration. That looks like a considerable climb, anyway. If comrade,
They've actually got a chairlift.
You put your pass in, yeah.
Yeah. People
Yeah.
ski down in winter. It's lovely, but
It's all like winter resort. I love it. Well, if your home is on the way, then it would be unthinkable to think of you coming here and not passing the threshold of where you once lived. Let us go there.
That's the case, isn't it, Mike? That the Divisia household is partial way up.
Yeah, it'd be sort of like where these places are.
Don't click the one at the bottom. Come on, like halfway up at least.
Like some of these.
One of the big ones.
Yeah, there you go. One of them.
Yeah.
Not this one. Oh, that's the tip of the partisan. That's the Highkeep of Highkeep.
I hate to bring your mind to such troubles when home is so close to hand, but that Balor, that dreadful demon, was throwing citizens of this place into that opening, into that fissure. A gate of some kind leading to another world. I sensed that there was a spell at work.
Yes, that is concerning. I assume you don't have any way of just bringing them back.
Not prepared. I do actually have means of intercepting planet transportation, but it would require some preparation that we do not have time for just now. But maybe, given that they are using such gates, it might be an idea for me to prepare something, one or two tricks to hamper their movement between the planes. I shall dwell on this.
Do you want to give me a knowledge the planes?
I shall dwell on this now.
I'll dwell on it immediately.
I'm still dwelling. let me dwell, damn you. I dwell for 34.
Just to say, you remember from your studies and from the little bits, if you remember on the Black Scroll of Arm and other things you've read before,
yes,
associated with demons, it has been heard of in the past that demons would take mortals back to the abyss to essentially undergo a purer form of what the masters were doing, converting others into demons.
Yeah. Demons are all about transformation. I'm afraid to say, comrade, that your people are being taken not only to be enslaved, but to be transformed, to be added to the ranks of the abyss. This abomination, this act, is something that we've seen before. We saw it happen to Orazio himself. Though that was to do with the death seeds, which I suppose is linked, but not exactly the same.
Well, that can't be allowed to stand, can it?
Nope. No, it cannot. They will suffer for this.
And with
The
that,
Divisia is.
You proceed through the streets of Lower Highkeep. As
Low keep.
Low Keep. Low Highkeep.
Low high keep. Low high keep.
There's high keep, low high keep, mid high
There's
keep.
mid high keep, of course. Don't forget.
It all gets a little confusing. As you push through, getting closer to the Partisan, the name of that peak for which Highkeep sits upon, and where houses of the majority of the lords live as well. I need you both to give me a spot check.
Oh, spot check, eh?
What it is.
Spot it shall be.
Oh, never mind.
28.
Blackie, you're him.
Comrade, your thoughts are on home, and they're that way. Bracken, you spy atop a tower in the distance, a magical dome sat atop it.
Oh.
That was quite dramatic. This dome seems to match your earlier searchings, where you noticed that kind of distant pinpoint of like abjuration, conjuration, divination. All of that seems to stem to that dome.
Okay.
Comrade, you would know these towers to be used as lookouts and intended to act as a penultimate line of defence in case of invasion, though this has never been needed. As such, there has never been much occupation of these on a military level. Some have acted as places of study, and some as places like mages would conduct research.
The dome, as you describe it. When you say a magical dome, does that look like a dome of magical power, like it's a spell-like effect of a dome, or is it a structure that is magic in nature?
Like spells forming into a dome.
Right.
The magic, if you want to give me any checks, I can give you a bit more information.
I imagine that would be a knowledge arcana.
Yeah.
Let's go. My maximum. I roll a 4, but that's 36.
This appears to be a combination of very powerful magic and anti-magic, mage's distinction, screen, a lot of powerful magic going into the upkeep of this encasing dome. Typically, not one mage could create something of such power and scale. This is probably the result of combined persistent ritual magic.
Someone is generating enough magical force to create a dome within. Does it look like it's covering the keep, or is it within the keep?
So the tower goes up to like just like a military flat top tower,
One,
and the dome encompasses just the top. Yeah.
So it's not all of the structure at the top of the keep, at the top of the mountain. It's just one part of that structure.
So not on the top, but like say like here as an example, one tower has a dome of magic onto it, and only part way up.
Oh, right. So it's not the actual main Highkeep. It's one of those towers you were talking about. Oh, apologies. Okay, well, he looks at one of those watchtowers as they're going by and or approaching, and he will direct Conrad's attention to it, explaining that there's insane amounts of magical protection going on about it. If that's Mage's Destruction, as that was just described, that is like a level 8 spell of some kind, so for it to be like on a dome, then that's madness. Bracken like explains it exactly like that. It's like, that's madness. Look, that's insane levels of magical power that's protecting that at that outpost, that guard tower. We must investigate.
Yeah,
I will say this:
it's good to see the redundant towers to be used for their actual purpose for once.
You have a choice before you. Scaling the Partisan now both to the Divisier household and to this tower are roughly the same distance.
We said we were going to rest. It is your call, though, Conrad. You are the one that gives the orders here. What shall it be?
If the dome has been created by something as powerful as you say, I think we need to be at full power ourselves to face it. Would you agree?
Agreed. Let us away to the Divisier household, and also I am weirdly curious to see what the place where you grew up. I'm excited.
Yes. You take a diversion away from the tower, and you move a very familiar path for you, comrade. One countless times you walk this, you know it with your eyes closed. You find when you get there, the doors are not locked, and in some places the windows are still open.
Conrad, although, is the door unlocked or is it open?
Unlocked.
I think even now, knowing that there's probably not really anyone who's going to answer, he will still go back to sort of tradition, and that you don't enter somebody else's house without knocking. And although it is his childhood house, he was asked to leave, so it's not really his home anymore. So he will walk up to the door, bang on it, and shout, "Mother, Father, it's me. I've returned. Is everything okay?"
You are greeted with a familiar sense of emptiness.
And after a couple of seconds of silence, Conrad will open the door and go in.
Oh, moving your things. This is the Firefox weird thing. There we go.
You're not on Google Chrome?
It wouldn't be working if I were.
Yes.
You find yourself in the Divisier household. Halls and rooms from your youth as empty as the void. No family, no staff, not even any indication where people were last here. You remember the layout so well. As you would go in, would be where your father would work. He'd have guests waiting in the room on the left, where his office would be just a bit further down. Opposite his office is the study and the library where you spent hours studying, reading, attempting to. Much rather be training somewhere else.
Yeah, I think we'll move through, glance in each room as we go to see if there's anyone there.
You can see like the door into the dining room is left wide open. There's not a sound. There's nothing that betrays your trust in what may or may not be here. I mean, the table looks set in the dining room, picturesque to a degree, as if maybe they're expecting guests before disappearing. You stand at this point next to your father's rapier and your mother's necklace from their wedding. I mean, the rapier, although unsuited for battle, has been passed down through generations of Diviziers. And that tome next to Bracken was gifted by the Levaliants several generations ago. Said to have been written by the first family of Levelis. It's an old language, you don't understand it. But a relic of the house nonetheless.
I think Conrad's fingers will trace over the items as he's looking around the room, sort of a reverence that he probably always sort of reran the same sort of, as he walked past it, he'd always sort of trace his hands along the family relics, as it were. I wonder if there's a family portrait anywhere in the dining room. I wonder if that would...
You see...
And whether it's missing a person, as it were.
Well, that's the thing. There is here a large portrait of the family. And it is, unfortunately, of two children and their parents. It looks like a new commission.
I think Conrad will probably take a long moment looking at that, staring at it. It's sort of, I imagine it's pretty familiar, except for the fact that he's not in it.
Similar pose. The faces, you know those faces.
In an almost too sunny way, he turns to Bracken and says, "My family, mother, father, and there's my brothers."
Bracken glances at the painting. Now, this is more to remind me than it is for Bracken, but are your brothers one? Are you the middle child?
No,
You're the that's right. You're the third.
youngest.
Yeah. So both of these are older then. Does this look like that? Is this like a painting of their youth, but like redone then? It's not like they commissioned a new one with them from that age. They just replaced the one they already had and actually repainted it without Conrad in it. Oh my god. That's not even like brutal. Brushing it under her side. That is literally erasing you rather than just commissioning a new portrait and then putting that one aside. Bracken will like glance at it and then look at you, Conrad, and simply say, "It must be difficult to be here, Conrad. Do you wish for some time alone? There are things that I can busy myself with. I can prepare food, if it is your wish to look around your home. It must be so strange."
It is strange, but I suppose it's not really my home anymore. So, and he sort of, his eyes flick to the painting again. Says, "The food's probably through here," and then he's going to go through to the pantry and the kitchen.
As you head to the kitchen, there's another sight on the wall. Upon this wall here are individual portraits of every member of the family.
Every member?
is the father at the top. Next to him, his wife. And then there are two portraits. You think the eldest son, the younger son. The final portrait now stands as one of the current Lord of Highkeep, Andred the Valiant.
Bracken will look at the picture and say, well, at least it's not the dog or something. This might not feel like your home, Conrad, but there's nothing to say that we can't make it a bit more familiar. Bracken clicks his fingers and casts Unseen Servant. Stibbons, there is food in the pantry, and I am tired from battle. I would have you prepare something for me and Conrad, and no suspicious quiche.
You hear a voice. Yes, sir. And then a faint wisp of air as Stibbons, still begrudging of his death against the
I was going to say, didn't Stibbons get animated into a person?
And then brutally murdered within pretty much the second round of combat. I think actually it was the death throes. It was the death throes of a Balor that claimed him.
Oh, yeah, I had forgotten. And naturally, Bracken has also forgotten that.
You hear the sound of plates and crates being moved. You know, comrade, that beyond here lies your parents' bedroom and the living room / smoking room. Into the garden would be the dummies you would train against, and then the stairs below that, taking you up to the floor where your brother's bedrooms, yours, and the guest room were.
I think Conrad will glance into the other rooms on this floor just to make sure that there's not anybody there. If it's obviously in a fairy tale, it would be that they were asleep and awaiting some way to remove the curse. So that's his initial the initial thought that he can't quite get out of his head, even though it doesn't feel like that's what's happening. But he always likes to imagine things as stories, and that would be a good story.
Absolutely.
So yeah, he just glances in each one and then probably goes upstairs to check the rooms upstairs as well for anything abnormal. Well, more abnormal than writing your third son completely out of the family.
As I imagine we'll be kind of down here for a bit, I won't take you upstairs straight away, but I will describe. You head upstairs and you go straight to your room. And it's been tidied since you've been away, but it's pretty much as you left it. In one corner is a training sword. You never really used it. There's some practice armor you used to wear. It's on a dummy. But what does strike you, that actually sat at the headpiece of your bed, is your solo portrait.
Oh.
As it rests upon your pillow.
I think Conrad will pick it up briefly and then just put it on a side somewhere. Obviously, he'll look at it first, but yeah. At least they didn't burn it.
At least they didn't burn it. You perch on the side of your bed and you notice a layer of dust just go poof. It It's been a while since anyone's set foot in here.
Speaking of dust, the rest of the house, is it clean of dust, or is it?
For the most part. As you can probably see, actually, from the current map, the plants are still fairly in good condition.
And the food in the pantry is not off.
Some of it. Some of it. But you find... Actually, it's not been months that it's been decaying and festering. Hard to say. Weeks, perhaps? But some bits are still... It's like coming back from a holiday. Some bits are okay. House as you left it. Not that dirty.
From downstairs, you hear Bracken fly into a sudden rage, for nothing quite makes Bracken angrier than Stibbons, and you hear a voice muffled by the many floors bellowing, "You're an unseen servant! Why can't you be an unheard servant?" Yeah, you hear something thrown across the room.
You hear another clattering of metal as Stibbons clashes something against another. Sorry, sir. And then proceeds to mumble at you.
He needs to make some noise, otherwise you'll walk through him.
Pretty much. You'll just see a plate hovering.
Can I check the office? My father's office. I want to know if there's any correspondence or anything that would give us any idea of...
Yes. And whilst you're if you want to give me a search check, and Bracken, if you can give me, on behalf of Stibbons, a craft culinary roll. We'll see how good his dinner is.
So craft is just intelligence, so I'll just add my intelligence modifier to it, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. 22.
Oh, wow.
Well.
Oh, yeah, Stibbons.
Restaurant quality.
Yeah.
Restaurant quality. I'll come to that in a bit then. You find there's some information about the immediate kind of ruling, like the notable lords of Highkeep. Larior, the lords on the other side of the Lavaliance family, are in appear to be in a slightly more prestigious position than they were prior to the events of about 8 months ago. The Rains have remained in Valleydale, and the Ormitars have headed to the Lord's Eye, where they are maintaining an eye on the borders. They're some of the last Lord families to leave, and you can see this was dated a couple of months back, a month and a half, 6 to 8 weeks. There's a note that going further back, you can see, though your name isn't mentioned, it's written as a formality, as if somebody being a third party. But it says that due to the disregard of certain situations, Alexander the Valiant, who was set to ascend to become the next ruler, has been delayed. And with formality and circumstance being what makes up, Highkeep, pomp and circumstance,
Yeah.
there needs to be another ceremony. But unfortunately, the time to organise this has now clashed with the war, and as such, Alexander is not, and has not, ascended into his rightful place. Andred the Valiant, his father, still reigns as the leading Lord Lavaliant, governing Highkeep. Seeing that in the situation of a war, his experience may be needed. There is communications as well, where, for lack of a better description, your father is begging for consideration, and that the banishment of his youngest should be enough to restore the status of the de Vizier house. There's a bit more on some of the other houses for the other parts of Levelis, if you wanted to read further.
Yeah, sure.
Some of the key areas are House Espar, the ones kind of south of the Lords of Valiant. They're seen as like the second leading house, and should the Lavaliants fall, House Espar would be the next leading house. It is said that them and the Lord's Horth are bringing their swordsmen, or at least a small contingent of their swordsmen, to Highkeep for further discussions. And then, of House Belladon, the Lord's Valna, led by General Foucaulton. He's known as General Valor, play on his name Valnor, but he's the one who essentially leads the military here, indirectly. And they, both the General and House Belladont, are also here as well. At least they were a few weeks ago. There's not much of the others.
But essentially the three main houses were all present when Highkeep went silent.
Yes, and the strong arms of the military were here as well.
Gotcha. Conrad will go back out to Bracken, who's no doubt berating his unseen servant, and say, it's as we thought. The most powerful families seem to have been here when Highkeep, well, whatever happened. So the whole area will have been looking to leaders that weren't there.
If we ever need to determine the likely cause of any action, we must look for motive and who stands to gain for the immobilization of Highkeep. Surely the Haxel invasion benefits from no order being given. Where there should be decisions, those still with strength to fight find only silence. And all the while the invasion encroaches. We have toyed with forces from this plane that have thought it within their benefit to make sanctions with the Abyss. No matter how many times history has shown that it's folly, some folk never learn. It is good to know all this, but it does not change our goal. We need to put an end to this this overhanging effect that lies upon your home.
What does change, though, is the door to the pantry swings open as
Disintegrate!
unseen.
Oh, sorry.
As plates of food get brought in, more than should probably have been made, but perhaps the berating motivated Stibbons. There are tarts, there's soup, there's bread, there's what looks like a type of pie, you think. Meat pie, at least. Looks very good. It all smells brilliant. Stibbons done brilliant wonders for you.
Stibbons, how you have remembered. Partridge pie is one of our very favourites.
Yes, sir.
Bracken's annoyance with Stibbons melts immediately as he was clearly just hangry. Begins to tuck into the food. You sure this isn't pigeon?
As you say this, Stibbons puts a napkin around your neck. Just, there you go, sir.
Thank you.
I love how instantly Bracken changes when Stibbons appears. Like, in any other situation, he's like, he's a bramble man, he lives in the forest. Stibbons appears and he's suddenly Grandmaster.
Yeah, he's the worst. He's terrible. He's terrible. He does dwell often, and perhaps it's born of guilt, for Bracken once promised Stibbons a body of his own, and granted him that, only for Stibbons to then go into battle like a day later and be instantly disassembled and destroyed.
Immolated.
Yeah, sorry. I think you're fine, sir. I was immolated.
Immolated, sir.
Immolated, sir.
I think it's the same Stibbons.
It's 100% the same Stibbons. It is 100%. So Bracken does ponder about that maybe one day he'll have to find a more permanent solution, but that guilt is what generally drives his anger. That and the fact that he keeps putting pigeon in the partridge pie. But he lets it slide because he's hungry.
Stibbons puts a napkin around your neck as well, comrade.
Oh, unnecessary, but thank you, Stibbons.
As you're both tucking into a meal, where would you sit, by the way? I mean, you know this is the head of the table up here.
Yeah. I suspect. Oh.
Tribal chief, you're at the head of the table.
Sorry?
You're the tribal chief, you have to sit at the head of the table.
You do have to sit at the head of the table. I think Conrad would start at the head of the table. He'd be about to sit there, just out of habit of the last few months, that he would attempt at any time to sit at the most prestigious spot. Remember where he is, and in a second he goes like a year back in time to where he's supposed to sit then, and he goes back to his traditional seat, and then he shakes that off and then goes and sits at the head of the table anyway.
Fair enough.
Because fuck them, they left it. They cut him out of the fucking family portrait.
Bracken goes here.
Nice. I mean,
not at the far end, like an awkward,
like a married couple that
date.
want to murder each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Bracken will like just look and then sort of like acknowledge that, and he'll carry his plates, like his goblet of wine, like spilling as he carries both. Like, oh, sorry. Brings it to this end, and says, "It is good that you have determined this information, Conrad. This is something that we can use. at least now we have some idea of the standing of the houses and what occurred in the days leading to this event. I must ask your permission, however, for a certain book that I noticed. This book here, is there anything that you know about it? I haven't touched it, but from the cover I can tell it's written in some unknown script.
Well, it's a sort of relic, I suppose you would call it, given to my family centuries, did you say, Mike? Centuries ago, by the Lords Valiant, when obviously the House de Vissier was in a more favourable position. It's much cherished. No idea what it says. I don't think anybody does. No idea the language.
It was said to be written by the very first family of Lavellis.
Said to be written by the very first family of Lavellis, which would have been the original lord that took Highkeep in the first place when it became the Lord's Grasp after the after it separated into its different regions.
I mean, you're looking. This book is coming from the end of the Second Era. It's delicate.
Do be careful with it, reckon.
Well, I wasn't even going to touch it without your permission, Conrad, but there is every chance that I might glean some information from it.
Well, as the Elvish say, Mikasa Sukasa.
Bracken will look embarrassed because Conrad has actually uttered a disgraceful slur and look away for a while. That word, I do not think it means what you think it means. Can you speak Elvish, Conrad?
He can, but he...
Oh, okay, alright, no, you can ignore that then. I thought you couldn't speak Elvish.
No, I don't think I've ever used it, so it's probably
Sure.
Your French GCSE level knowledge of Elvish.
Je suis la gare.
Je voudrais un milk?
Milk? Oh, deep cuts. That's deep cuts.
You'd probably find the book on Elvish in the library, just in your study.
Yeah. I like to think Elvish to the people of Highkeep is a bit like Latin. It's not really useful to them, but it sounds fancy, so they study it anyway.
Yes. I mean, this is a fairly human-centric region. You know, most of the lords stem from human families. And there are some half-elf lineages in some people. There are some dwarves, a couple of halflings and gnomes, but the majority of this place is human.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, elves are... there's not many of them.
There never is there? Bless them.
Yeah.
Bracken will say, if I have your permission, of course I will wash my hands of the excellent pastry that Stibbons has presented us with.
Any grease on that.
I won't get anything on it, but I might attempt to decipher script upon it. There are ways that I could potentially translate potentially some secret knowledge or ancient lore. In fact, Bracken will take a clean napkin that Stibbons is yet to fold and put round us.
We've just got gradually more and more napkins just placed all over.
And he'll take a clean one and he'll use that to gently lift the book from its casing if it's open. That is, Mike.
I mean, it's on a latch. It's not locked. It's just like a courtesy latch that you can just
No, I'm kidding.
What's this?
He'll open. What's this? he'll open it and with a napkin lift up the book, and then also using the napkin will then open the book very carefully, showing as much due diligence and respect as possible, not wanting to show any disgrace or disrespect to the line of the Vizier.
I mean, you can start, but this is big.
I will start then.
And
I roll a 2. 17.
Is this a decipher script?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you're uncertain. However, I will say this. This is going to take hours of study over several days. This is a big book, and there's a lot going on at the moment. This is not something you can just flick through. And if you were to flick through it, chances are the pages would disintegrate.
Oh.
So it's going to take days of study.
Well, perhaps a simple repair spell might return the book to its original form and thus be less delicate. However, if it goes wrong, it might just turn into an Argos catalogue. No. Bracken is just going to wave his hand and cast Detect and Read Magic upon it, just to see if there's magic coming from the book. He'll do the same with the sword as well, by the way, because he can see both of them. He'll be able to learn if both of them have magical properties.
So, the sword and the necklace don't. They are... You can see they're old, but they don't have anything innately magical about them. Valuable, yes. Magical, no. The book...
Bit shit to use, yes. Looks fancy, yes.
Yes. The book, though, there is something magical about it, but... It feels intertwined with the words. And perhaps just further study would enlighten what that magic would be.
Bracken will begin devising some way of keeping the book safe, and with Conrad's permission, he would have it come with us. He will vow to keep it as safe as he possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, it's just lying there at the moment, I'm sure. As long as we return it intact.
Of course.
Even know it's gone.
I can use a spell to restore it. I actually can. If I spend the night, I can reshift a spell or two, and yeah.
I would worry that might damage the value of it if you make it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Antiques need to be old, don't they, for them to have value?
Yeah.
If it looks like it was made yesterday. Okay, I promise I'll just
clearly a fake.
Yes. I'll just make sure I'm careful with it for sure.
As Stibbons puts his 9th napkin around Conrad's neck, he pulls the empty plate away. With that, however, as you tuck the napkin book safely away, I need you both to perform a will save.
As the entire room is enveloped in fire.
Spell or a spell-like ability?
It is, yes.
Dom's favourite character. If his character doesn't ask you if it's a spell or spell-like ability, he's not happy.
True.
No, I always want to...
Every character you have is a spell or spell ability.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
no!
didn't choose this one to have it. This was Mike's fault.
I rolled a 20.
27.
That tang in the air is still present. But Bracken, the weight of this area just sits heavily upon you.
Oh, what's the point, he says.
Burning the book. Throw it in the fire.
Maybe not so dramatic. We'll see what happens when I will do this publicly
Oh.
You take 3 points of charisma drain.
Drain?
Charisma drain.
Oh no. Yeah, he definitely does. Says, what's the point? Like, he's... Oh! Now, Drain comes back, or...?
Nope. Drain is permanent until cured.
That's okay. That's okay. Drain. Okay, charisma drain.
You don't need charisma anyway, right?
No, it's fine. I actually have. I can handle it. I can handle it. Conrad, I fear that this the all-encompassing power is affecting me. That power in the air, he says, like a dull kraken.
Well, if you want to get an early night, Bracken.
Yeah.
Fail yourself upon whichever bed you would like.
Let me take you up to the bedrooms.
For God's sake.
Michael.
Forgive the wording, but he slipped it in earlier as well. Before I take you upstairs. And I didn't say anything because it was serious. It was coming into your family house, but now Bracken has charisma drain.
Just seduce us, Michael.
You're reading into that. That was just a perfectly normal... Anyway, the small room here being the guest room, and the room straight ahead with the blue chair being Conrad's.
Still the smallest one out of there.
That's a deliberate move. They've actually done extension work on the other rooms to deliberately make yours smaller.
They weren't even. Oh. They've also got cow print. Mine's just got some bullshit fur.
Yeah, you got vole skin, and they got like premium.
The ermine, is that a?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, vole skin would be more expensive than cow. So actually, listen, yours is probably like hog skin. It's like really wiry.
It's made out of rats.
All made of rats.
You know how blankets have like tied together bits at the end? That's just the rat tails. So.
Fuck you, Conrad is sewn into every seam.
Oh.
Well, I can go in the guest bedroom, Conrad. I cannot.
No, go in one of the brothers' rooms.
Fine.
I'm being nice, Bracken.
yeah. I love that me immediately losing charisma makes me a complete arsehole. Bracken goes in here. He likes the look of the tan cowl bedding, so he'll take this one. Wait, no. Is this his parents' room? I can't sleep with his parents.
No, that's downstairs.
Parents is on the ground floor.
How weird. Why? They got mobility issues or something? What the fuck?
Well, probably, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess so, yeah. Right, maybe. He's gonna sleep there.
Do we want to still maintain watch, presumably?
Oh, yeah.
You get some sleep first. You seem...
No, it's fine. I have alarm prepared still. I didn't change it from last time I used it, so he'll cast alarm here. In fact, it covers pretty much the whole area, I believe, alarm, so this floor is alarmed. I can use, like, a locking spell, I think. Lock us in.
Arcane lock, I think.
Maybe. Before Bracken goes to bed, he is going to use his ability that he's not yet used. He will stand there alone in the room for a while, and then eventually his eyes will swim with a multicoloured power as he uses one of his feats, Alacritus Cognition. I can never say it properly.
But you were so glad when you started saying that, you decided to try and say it.
Alacritus Cognition. It basically allows him to swap out any spell once a day. And that's exactly what he does. He does that, gets rid of one of his 9th level spells, and replaces it with Wish.
Making a lot of wishes today.
I wish I could restore my charisma.
I need to check if there's a cost to this.
Okay, well I could do a lesser Wish.
The minimum XP cost for casting Wish is 5,000 XP.
Okay, so we're agreeing with the XP costs for Wish. Is that right?
I mean, Wish is Wish. Yes, I would say for this spell. Okay. Same for like Miracle.
In that case, then
top 9th level.
I won't do Absolutely. That then. In that case, I will instead use Limited Wish, which I don't believe you. Oh no, that does use XP as well. Shit. So
Limited Wish only uses XP.
Yeah, it does use XP, but I've used a scroll of that.
Yeah, but only in certain bits.
Oh, I see.
When a Limited Wish duplicates a spell that has an XP cost, you must pay that cost or 300 XP, whichever is more.
Oh, okay. I was going to use Limited Wish to undo the harmful effects of many spells, such as Gaius Quest or Insanity. So, will Limited Wish work against this drain?
Could you not use it to cast Restoration? That'd be...
I can't cast Restoration.
Is Restoration at level 5?
I can't cast Restoration.
No, but I mean, but Limited Wish, you could wish for a Restoration, right?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, absolutely.
Limited Wish.
Yeah, duplicate any other spell of 5th level or lower.
Oh, okay, yeah, and that doesn't have an XP cost. Yeah, okay, absolutely, yeah. In that case, then I will use Limited Wish to cast Restoration.
Limited Wish I didn't have this charisma damage.
I Limited Wish to remove this from me using a Restoration spell. He says, I love that. I didn't realise. Wow, so I can effectively just do Restoration, but cast it as a level 7 spell.
Yeah, that's so the second line, duplicate any other spell of 5th level or lower, provided it's not of a school prohibited to you. It doesn't say it has to be Sorcerer or Wizard. I'm ruling that yes, you can wish for lesser or Restoration.
Sure, because it's not prohibited, but I don't have them either, so I don't know.
So long as you can spend the cost, which is 100 gold pieces of diamond dust.
So how much gold pieces is that?
100 gold pieces.
I'll do it. Bracken lets the gold burn away into diamond fragments, and it transforms again into nothing. And he casts that spell. Get off me.
You dwarf.
You feel a weight and a darkness lift your shoulders.
You take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Go into downward facing dog.
Mm-hmm. You're talking like Paradix here again.
He was the one in downward facing dog.
Bracken shouts. Bracken shouts through the walls. Good night, Conrad.
Good night, Bracken.
Rest
Sleep
well.
tight.
Yes.
Yes. Good night, Stibbins. If you're still here.
Stibbins.
Can't remember how long you last.
He lasts the night.
He's cleaning up. You just hear the sound of.
What am I fucking saying? Stibbins!
The evening draws over, and firstly with Bracken, there is a lingering doubt that just stays with you throughout the night. Like, will you find happiness again? Is there any point to it? Shrug it off for the most part, but it still lingers. Comrade, I mean, this must be weird.
Yeah. Definitely. I think being in the place that he'd spent so many hours, and I don't think we've said where Conrad's sort of power comes from, but this place is before he gained. When he was living here was before he gained that power of his self-belief, which grants him abilities that most people would gain from worshipping gods. And here, being back in this place puts just a little seed of self-doubt back in his mind as he reminisces on being sort of how everything that makes him a great warrior out in the world here in Highkeep makes him a bit of an oaf, a bit of a someone who doesn't quite fit in.
And perhaps the last sight before Comrade falls asleep is looking at that portrait of him, that regal portrait with a rapier at his side. And that seems like a somber but appropriate place to pause it for today. So, let us do this, and in this, and then I get to do this. Back to here again. Yeah, with a rather different end to the session than how we began. Comrade.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Once again, having a really, for lack of a better term, a game of two halves of having very different first half and second halves in tone and style as well. Like the first half was all battle and the second half was all exploration and character exploration, I guess. So yeah, once again, really enjoying it. Loved fighting the abyssal beings and standing toe to toe with a why can't I remember words?
Marilith.
A Marilith and the other one, a Balor. Oh my god. I know the name of a Balor as well. I just went. It's always a lot of fun and also constantly concerning that Nat 20 is going to come up on the old Vorpal blade. So I really enjoyed that. Loved seeing more of Highkeep and the Divicia household. Loved the touch of him not being in the pictures anymore, that they've repainted pictures that they already had. Like they've put more expense into sort of writing him out of the family history almost. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Feel sad for Conrad, but also he does deserve it a little bit.
A smidge, yeah. But also a few dick things to deal with.
Yeah.
Didn't think Paradic was in this one.
And on that note, Bracken.
Okay, so in Dark Souls, you'll fight an enemy that's like a boss, and then you later learn that in a couple of levels that boss is actually just like a standard troop type for the next area. That felt like what we were encountering when we went against the Balors and the Mariliths. It was like, oh no, you thought that this was a boss encounter in its own right. No. Here's 2 Balors and here's 2 Mariliths. Each of them could easily kill you. Enjoy. So that was good.
And there's less of you this time.
Yes. So, and it's like, even though, Bracken, from Bracken's point of view, I'll talk from Bracken's point of view. From Bracken's point of view, yeah, he can wipe out enemies, but like when it comes to very, very powerful enemies en masse, there's only so much that even a wizard can do, and that was shown in spades in that battle. To bring us to the battle and to the session overall, it felt fitting in a way that Bracken took a back seat in the battle as well as in the character exploration. It felt like a complete examination of Conrad, from his fighting abilities to his history. We're learning more about what led to him leaving Highkeep, because it's always been alluded to, but it's never been fully said in either of the games we've played with these characters, not properly. So it's good that we are unraveling that. To also add on to the point that Dom, when he mentioned about his family going to the extra trouble of removing Conrad, it just goes to show what kind of society Highkeep used to be. This thing of total honour, total reputation, everything. Any blemish on that must be immediately covered over, immediately brushed under the carpet, immediately painted over, which I love the idea of. I love that we saw the evidence of that, and it makes you wonder that as bad as the Abyss is, perhaps Highkeep has had a fall coming for a while.
Yeah.
Humbling, as it were.
Humbling, definitely.
Yes. So that makes me wonder, maybe that's where the human element comes in, because we know that who's benefiting from this sovereign Orion. Is it his machinations? Is it him striking back at this lofty civilization that for so long has looked over all of them with this disdain? Maybe this is their what's the word? This is their rapture, in a way. So that just fascinates me, and I just really enjoy just sitting back and listening to Conrad get to explore stuff. I love that. I love it when you can just sit back and listen. So yeah, I really enjoyed the session, even though I got put on my arse by an insanity spell. I guess I had it coming, because I love that spell and use it all the time. So there we go.
I mean, a few things from me, I will say. Firstly, Rob, yes, thanks for being a good sport with it. I loved all the things you're putting in the chat. That was
you got to, right?
epic.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to lead into it. So I was like, this is all my turn gets to be. Then at least I get to buy into it, and it shows Bracken losing his freaking mind, which as a mental person already. But yeah, no, I'm glad it was all right. Yes.
And I will say to Comrade, or to Dom, I mean, there was a lot thrown at Comrade there, so
huge.
So I mean, that's a lot for the character, but as you were saying, Rob, it's nice to see that development of Comrade's character. But I will say, this is a story of 2 people, and I haven't forgotten that.
Oh, as in... Oh, well, what, you alluding to Conrad and Bracken, or are you alluding to this other figure we've been hearing about?
No, Conrad and Bracken.
Yes, well, I am curious. That's a good point. You did acknowledge that there's something magical going on. I do wonder if that's the synod involved in that immensely powerful dome of magical defences. That would be interesting to learn. I'm looking forward to that next session. That's immediately where I want to go next, by the way. As we're next to it, we might as well, right? On the way out.
Yeah.
Hopefully not too much misery will come of it, but we'll see.
We shall see. Well, I suppose a few things left to say is, for those of you still watching or after the fact, we hope you've enjoyed it. As said earlier, please, if you haven't already, give us a like and a subscribe. And be that on Twitch or on YouTube on Performance Check, Rob's channel where we host Roll the Bones. So with that, as we always end on, bone them rolls.
Bone them rolls.
Well, I'm wrong.
Blue bones them rolls.
Blue bones them rolls.
Blue bones them rolls.
Prove our numbers.
Blue bones.